Do you want to make money? Do you want to make money real fast? You want to make money with no money down, zero investment? Well then, motherfucker, this is the video for you. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Yes, we got the nice make money fast online with no investment or no prior experience type of video on the channel. The late night info market target audience, all the past viewers of Ty Lopez that have had to abandon ship after he lost his street cred and they need to find a new get rich quick scheme. This is where you need to end up. This is where you want to be, because in this video, I'm realistically going to be showing you the fastest way to get to $10, $20, $50,000 per month from your house with zero investment. And we're actually going to do it by using good old sound business fundamentals, which you should listen to me about because I built a net worth north of $200 million and I have absolutely nothing to fucking sell you because I'm already rich. And wait, there's more. If you're a person that actually already has a business, what I'm going to show you right here is the best way to grow your business or expand it, because the thing we're going to be focusing on here, the thing we're going to be playing off of, is the core of launching any business. Not just a new one, not just a get rich quick scheme business from your mom's basement. If you understand this concept I'm going to present to you right here, you can go and use as a beginner, launch businesses without money up front, without risk, and actually scale them very quickly, because it's the core of what actually makes a business work. And if you already have a business, this is the way to refine the business and actually grow it much further. I've seen many businesses like the one I'm about to show you in this video scale to 5, 10 plus million a year. Now, once you get to those points, you're probably going to want to do some other things, but this works and this gets it done. This has worked for me over and over again. I've seen it work hundreds and hundreds of times. Let's begin. Also, forgive me, my sweet garage right now is a shit show. We're building stuff, so deal with it. Okay, let's get into it. So here's what you need to understand first off, and this is the main concept. Once you get this, it's pretty easy to start businesses that are very fast, very profitable, very cash flow in your pocket, all the things you guys are looking for in this video kind of businesses. So look, what this is called is the storming the beach analogy, or this is exactly what I like to call it. Now, when people get into wanting to start businesses, they always think it takes some creativity or some big investment or some big idea. They seem to think that entrepreneurs are like this creative class of people, and you either got the je ne sais pas or you do not. This is nothing further than the truth. You could be an uncreative fucking moron and still crush it in business if you understand these basic concepts, because it's all just supply and demand, especially at the lower levels. Yes, if you want to make a business that's generating you millions of dollars per month consistently without doing some sketchy shit, you're probably going to have to be creative. You're probably going to have to make a really good product and be a good entrepreneur. You want to make $10,000, $50,000 per month, you have to make a bottom of the barrel business that relies more so on fundamentals of business and not your own creativity. If you get the actual fundamental businesses right, you're going to be very successful here. A way to look at this in a perspective is if you had a group of people and just one of those people had, I don't know, 50 hours of jujitsu training and you had them all fight each other, that person would whoop the shit out of basically anybody if they ended up on the ground with that very basic understanding of like what not to do and what to do when you're on the ground. That would allow them to do everything. This is the same thing in business. If you have the basic fundamental understandings of what you should be doing and what actually gets sales and what actually drives demand for what you're going to be selling in your business, you don't have to be good at anything. You don't have to be talented. You just have to understand the fundamentals, which people do not. So when it comes to making businesses grow and sell easily, this is the best fundamental to understand. It's the taking of the beach analogy. So let's imagine you have an entire market in any business, any industry, and there's a bunch of products in the market that already work and are already selling and making a lot of money. All you have to do is you have to break into this market by going and finding a very tiny, let's say even 1% of the market, less than 1% of the market, and taking what's making in the market and optimizing it for this. So let's look at why this works. One, you don't have to be creative. You just look at what's working in an existing market, and then you go, and I'm going to give you examples here in a moment. Trust me, you're not going to have to think or do any higher level principle thinking. Trust me, I'll spell it out for you. This is the purple crayon coloring book version of this lesson. But if you see things already working in the market, you know the money's there, and you know people are buying this product. And the easiest way to get a leg up in a market is most products have to appeal to a large range of audiences or people or businesses or customers if they want to scale. You can't just stick in little tiny markets and scale. It doesn't work like that. But you can, because you're not trying to make $1 million per month business. You're not trying to make a $500,000 per month business. You're trying to make something that pays your personal bills, which is $10K, $20K, $50K a month. Well, actually, I don't think that's most people's personal bills, but it's going to allow you to get to the point where you're financially good and you can actually start building businesses and be an entrepreneur, whatever the fuck you want to do. And this little tiny part of the market is more than enough to cover your biscuit. So let's talk about a few examples right here across different types of business models. Because I'm sure what you're thinking right now is, oh, okay, what type of exact business model and exact business thing should I get into? It doesn't really matter. Despite what every guru who's telling you, join my course in this specific business model guide, it's the best one to get started with as a beginner. There's really no best business model for beginners. The best thing to do if you're a beginner is, fucking listen to me on this, it's important. If you're a beginner, is market to small markets, because when you market to very small specific markets, you're able to custom suit a product that's perfect for the customer. When a product is perfect for the customer, they're going to buy it at a very high rate because you are perfectly suiting or fixing their problem. Now, you're not going to be able to fix many people's problems, but for these small handful of people, you're going to have the perfect product that solves their exact problem. When you have a perfect product that solves someone's exact problem, they're going to pay you money for it, even if you suck at everything else, because people have problems and they pay you to fix their problems. Now, solving a whole bunch of people, the entire market's problems, that's very hard, and there's massive competition for that because that's where all the money is. Okay, but we don't need all the money. We just need a little bit of money. And so we need to go and solve a very small part of the market's problem. So let's look at some examples of this. Let's think about this. So where would an easy example of this be? I'm sure you're all over YouTube right now and you see people saying, hey, sell AI agents to businesses. There's a bunch of other business models you can get into, but this is probably one that you know and you've heard about. So you see people selling AI agents to businesses all over the place, and you see people maybe selling like call funnel AI agents that you put on local businesses or whatever. So it's a little AI agent that watches your phone calls or picks up your phone or talks to people calling the phone. I don't fucking know, just something like that. What you could do is you could niche down and go into a very, very specific market like dentists, but then niche down even further and go into like organic dentists that focus in on the removal of fillings that have inorganic materials in it. It's supposedly really bad for you. What you could do is you could design an AI agent that is fully aware and trained and focused on that specific market, understanding everything that comes there, the questions that people ask, all that good shit. And you could train that agent specifically for those businesses, and then you could market just to those businesses. Now, why would this work? If you call up a local dentist office and say, hey, I have this AI agent that's going to improve your phone calls, they're not going to go with it because everyone and their dog is doing that. Everybody's trying to sell it to them. But if you call up an organic agent office and say, hey, I have an agent that focuses specifically on organic dentistry, and it works specific for this. It's trained specifically on your business model. I have 5 other organic dentists I put this on and increase their sales this much. Are you going to have a 100% close rate? No, but your close rate's going to skyrocket, because the best way to market to someone outside of calling out their in particular name and knowing exactly who they are and custom designing a product for them is calling them up and calling out exactly what they are, who they are, and very niche down specifically to who they are and what their specific problem is. And so if you had an AI agent that isn't focused on the entire call market for dentists or the entire call market for local businesses, but niche down to just organic dentists, whatever the multiple plural word is for dentist, you're going to fucking kill it. Now let's look at some other examples of this just across the space. If you're selling an e-commerce product, let's say you're selling sunglasses. You could go, and then I'm not suggesting do this, but this is just the type of thought process you have. You could go and sell sunglasses for people with very, very tiny faces, okay? Like little fucking faces, little elf faces running around that look good on their faces. I'm not saying exactly do that. I'm saying think of markets that are underserved that no one's actually making products for. If you're making a skincare product, you could go and find very odd ailments that people are suffering for and make a formulation just around that. If you're drop shipping products, you could find specific products that only fit a very tiny part of the market and then do that. So for example, if you make a skin cream that targets bumps on the nose that a specific race or gender gets in a high degree, and you run ads just for that. So like, are you a woman that has bumps on your nose, this exact race, and you have this type of skin type, and you get these bumps on your nose? This skin cream solves exactly that. Now, are you going to be able to scale this product to the moon? No, absolutely not. The amount of women that have those bumps on the nose that fit that exact criteria, they're going to be very rare. However, if you're just running $100, $200 a day in ads, or a very small amount of advertising just for that tiny little part of the market, you are going to dominate it and get all of it. Finally, let's look at an example in software. I'll give you 2 examples. So There's this one app out there called Cold Turkey, which is really good for blocking just general all use or any distracting stuff you have on your computer. But what you could do is if you want to get a part of that market and get some of Cold Turkey's market, you could make like a Chrome extension that blocks or specifically focuses on one type of app or one type of computer use. And you could run ads for that. You could market that. That would find everybody that Cold Turkey is not serving, that doesn't perfectly cover that one huge distraction they have a problem with, and knock that out. Same thing again. I'll give you another example right here. When I was making one of my first email softwares, it was called Market Hero, and the business eventually failed because I didn't understand this concept. When I made this software, we tried to make an email autoresponder for every single type of business online. Because of that, we didn't succeed. Whereas there was two softwares that started similarly in the time. One was ConvertKit, one was Klaviyo. ConvertKit made email marketing only for bloggers. It was just simply for bloggers and content creators. That's the only market they focused on. They were able to then go and dominate that market because they only focused on that. Klaviyo launched and they only focused on Shopify. That was it. It was like if you didn't have a Shopify store, you couldn't use Klaviyo. Because of that, they were able to make their setup and every part of the product perfect for Shopify owners. They were able to take that entire part of the market. And if you actually go and look at email autoresponders now, it's even chunked down even further. There's not only autoresponders that are focused on Shopify, but they're niched down to focusing specifically on skincare or clothing, et cetera, et cetera. You see this process happening over and over again. There used to be just one giant autoresponder, MailChimp, and they eventually segmented out, and people use this strategy to get their parts to market. Because MailChimp making hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars per year, someone else said, well, I'm cool just making millions of dollars a year, tens of millions of dollars per year, and they niche down. And that's why this is so powerful, because it allows you to break into niches and get insanely high conversion rates because you are the perfect solution to a product. By the way, if you're thinking about selling AI agents, you should check out Hyros AI in the future. At my company, Hyros, you literally slap it on a Shopify store, you slap it on a dentist office, it goes and generates some sales and calls passively. And you can sell this to businesses all day if you're looking for something to sell. Just Google Hyros, go look at Air. There's nothing for you to buy right now, but it's sick and dag nasty for the businesses that put it on their website. So now that we're armed with this understanding, what I'm going to encourage you to do is just go find a business model that appeals to you. I don't care if it's e-commerce. I don't care if it's agency work doing stuff for businesses. I don't care if it's selling AI agents to businesses, which I think is a really good model right now for beginners. It's not going to make you stupid rich. Everybody's doing it, but this is how you beat everybody at it. It's not about the business model. It's about understanding this, taking the beach analogy. You can go and build software. I think one of the best things beginners can actually do is learn how to code. Don't just learn the vibe code, learn how to actually write and use code, make Chrome extensions, whatever. It's not hard. You can learn how to be a competent developer if you really put your butt into it in like 60 days. I know people are going to roll their eyes, but I literally was able to develop a video game from scratch, zero, without vibe coding. This is back when you actually used to have the code, with about 45 days of coding experience. Granted, I was in front of a computer like 8 hours a day learning, but you can do it. You're not going to be the world's greatest developer, but you can make software. I think that's the best one, because then you have two things that people don't want to do, which is a market that's all yours and the ability to code, which most people don't want to do. Usually you have to hire a developer. And then once you combine that with vibe coding, you're a very powerful motherfucker at that point. You can produce apps for free using this exact strategy right here. Regardless of what you're doing, go and seek a business model that strikes your fancy. Now, my preferred suggestions to you would be that developer idea I just gave you, or selling services to businesses, whether it's building AI agents or running their ads, doing SEO for them, making their websites, whatever. Especially with AI right now, it allows you to do a lot of things very quickly and kind of be on the cutting edge of generating speed for businesses and whatnot. The point is, just go do something. I wouldn't necessarily suggest e-commerce out the gate. A lot of people tell you to do e-commerce. I would not, because it usually takes investment or a little bit of risk or like a lot of different business skills all in one altogether. It can get a little bit hairy when you're dealing with the logistics of moving items around. I'm not saying people haven't done that and made a lot of money as beginners. I'm just saying it's something you should consider. Now, how do we go and make money from this? So what we're going to want to do is exactly what I did and what everybody else does when they start their business. Use free methods. So what are free methods? They're free, first off, and they're not going to make you rich because they're manual. They're kind of hard to do. But because you're niche down, you can absolutely slay this shit. So what are the free methods? There's, of course, YouTube and social media. Now, are you trying to become the world's biggest influencer? No. But if you focus down in a very tiny specific niche and just put videos out for that, it doesn't matter if your videos are getting 100 views a video. If they're 100 views from dentists who are organic dentists on a video on how to grow your organic dentist office, you're going to get a few customers. And look, If you're charging $1,000 a month, $500 a month, whatever for your AI agent services or whatever you're doing for businesses or your little extension at your marketing, whatever, it doesn't take a lot of customers to get to $10,000 a month. It just doesn't. And then once you're at $10,000 a month, then you can start getting aggressive and doing all sorts of other stuff. So you want to use social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you want to do. Look at where your customers are hanging out at. Make content there and get good at making content. But I don't want to make content. Well, then fuck you. Don't do it. If you don't want to use free methods that require you to break out a little of your comfort zone, like which is bare minimum, posting shit on the internet, then just don't do it. It's fine. You're not going to make it here. Just enjoy this video for the jokes and the yucks. The other one that I think is the best is just cold calling and cold messaging businesses. Now, this doesn't work if you're selling something that is being sold all over the place everywhere. For example, there's so many people that sell and run ads for local businesses, it's insane. But if you've been selling how to make Google ads or whatever to local businesses back when it first opened, everybody said yes to it because no one was doing it. This is why I think making AI agents or apps for businesses, custom apps, like every business one-to-one, like, hey, I can make you this app that does this specific thing. I think that is absolutely gravy. Now, again, you're not going to get 100% close rate. You're probably going to get something very low and you're going to suck at it first and it's going to be weird, but you're going to learn how to sell and you're going to have something that's unique to sell. And because your product is perfect for them, the fact that you are bad at selling won't matter that much. If you were selling something that everybody else is selling, for example, if you see other people selling info courses or masterminds on YouTube, I'm not going to shit on them. I'm just going to tell you they have a very tough time doing that because millions and zillions of people are also doing it as well. Everybody has a course. Everybody has a mastermind they want to sell you. It's hard to sell that when everybody else has that. Supply and demand is completely lopsided, and so you're going to have a hard time making money for it. If you sell something that has absolutely no supply compared to the demand, you're going to do very well. Now, my preferred route, and nobody's going to want to do this, is just help people for free. This sounds goofy, doesn't it? I know it does. But if you call up a local business and you call up a business and offer to do whatever you're doing or build the app or whatever for free, what you're going to get is results, okay? So, for example, when I first started my tracking company way back when, Hyros, and I wanted to grow the company, what I did is I didn't go and try and sell it right away. What I did is I just found businesses that had this pain. They were specifically people selling call funnels, info businesses, e-commerce stores. And I said, hey, how's the tracking with your ads? It's pretty bad, right? Because Facebook and Google don't track well. They said yes. And I said, okay, we'll fix this for you for free. And if it works and it makes you more money, then you can pay for it after. They said, sure. And what I focused on with these businesses was getting results. And if you look at some of our pages right here, we just have endless results. You look at our Twitter, we just have literally endless people posting how much more their ads are making, how much better their business are performing using Hyros or ads. Because if you slap it on there and you use the tracking over other businesses, you're going to see 15 to 20% more money from your ads, period. And all I focused on was getting customers in for free at first, getting those results, and then using those testimonials to get our next customers. Then once we had tons of testimonials, that's when we went and started using it with celebrities and big brands and big software companies. And the rest is history right there. That is why I'm saying, hey, go do it for free. Because then when you go to that organic dentist, once you've done it for 2 to 3 of them and it worked, you can say, hey, I know you guys probably get these messages all the time. I can show you 3 other dentists that I did this for that are all making extra money, getting more calls, and it allowed them to get 5 to 6 more clients per month to their business. And I can prove we can do it. Here's the testimonials. Here's the results right here. Here's my X page. Here's our actual page. And that's the best way to go and start a business. You do it manually at first. Most people will not turn down something free. Same exact thing. When we launched our AI remarketing at Hyros, that brings customers back to people's sites and closes them and recognizes anonymous visitors. What I did at first is I went to our customer base. I went to people I knew would benefit from this. And I said, hey, look, if we put this on your site, it's going to bring people back to it. You don't pay for it. It will make you 3 to 5% more. If you like it, you can pay for it after. And then all I did was the same exact thing. I went and collected a ton of testimonials, and now we're putting this on very famous people's sites, tons of Shopify stores, and we're growing it based on the results and customers' results and customer satisfaction. In fact, you can go try it for free on our website. You don't even have to pay for it. If it doesn't make you money, don't pay for it. But the thing I'm trying to get to right here is, yes, I did talk my own books a little bit, but what I'm actually pointing out right here is I'm using the same exact method right here. When I got started and built Hyros, I originally designed the tracking for info businesses and expand the call focus businesses and e-commerce businesses. Right now with Hyros Air, I'm primarily focused on Shopify stores because it's the easiest setup and we can do it in one click. I'm taking the beach the same exact way I described to you in my own businesses, which I've scaled to valuations in the hundreds of millions. And I use that to get customers first, offer them something for free they can't turn down that matches their demand and is perfect for them, get that result, and then advertise that result to other people. And then you can use this YouTube method. You can use this cold calling method right here. You can use going on LinkedIn and forums and where all your customers interact at. You can use that right there. But now you're armed with case studies and results for customers that have a real problem that you have the perfect solution for. Not just like a one size fits all solution, the absolute custom made solution for them that's going to make them say yes to you in higher degrees than you could ever imagine. And if you're offering it for free at first, they're going to take it from you. And this is how you build a business that gets you from 0 to 10K a month, 0 to 50K a month, 0 to 100,000 a month, 0 to $1 million a month. It's so damn hard to go make a business that everybody else is building and sell a problem that is already solved to businesses that have endless amounts of supply of people wanting to solve that problem. You go and find the customer or the business that has a very specific problem, whether it's exactly very specific down to who they are as a person or what the business does, laser specific, like the subniche, the subniche, the subniche of a business model. And you make something perfect for them, you're going to convert them very highly because it's perfect for them and no one else is offering what you're selling. That's the key to being good at sales. It's not being able to go and make some sales pitch or be clever on the phone. It's having something that no one else fucking has. I don't care if you're a bumbling retard who smells like farts. If you have a product that solves someone's problem and no one else can solve that problem, you win. Default. Over. You offer it for free, you get the case studies, you get the results, then you go to the people who are your perfect customer, you offer them the perfect solution, but then you also back it up with endless results. You're going to fucking fly and you're going to get to that first income and be able to scale from there. And then you can start building your business and expanding. You can go and take other beaches. You start small, span up, or you can just go and say, okay, I made this for organic dentist. Now I'm going to make this for all sorts of surgical dentists and then all dentists. And you go from there. This is how you start from a small business to a big business. This is how you start really any business in the best possible way. And that's the video. Now, if you like videos like this and you want the actual business tactics I use, I have a special course I'm just kidding. I have nothing to sell you. I want to give you all my old course I used to make on my business tactics, ad buying strategies, sales methods, all that shit. I want to give it to you free. It's like $20,000 worth of courses that I used to sell. I don't do that anymore. It's been like half a decade. But if you want those courses, I give them to all my subscribers once a month in our community tab, but you cannot see these posts unless you're subscribed. So click subscribe. You'll see that post probably later this month, and then click it fast as I take it down and only my subscribers can see it. So subscribe and I'll catch you next video. Bye.